Tony, tell me about your accident.
After the war in Iraq, after the Iraq War, I was in a tragic car accident. I was in a coma for 5 months and 3 days. Now, I pushed myself ever since ever since I became disabled.
Your accident.
Ever since
How you got your brain injury.
Ever since my accident, from my brain injury, I strive to push myself over and beyond all expectations that my doctors say I can't do, because I feed off that, and I like to just tell them, "Ha! Look what I'm doing now."
But how did you get your brain injury?
Oh, how? I was in a tragic car accident after the first 2 Iraq missions. To specify?
If you would like to, you don't have to.
Alright, it was kind of my fault. Some high school kid that just graduated high school thought his souped up Honda Civic was faster than an 89 5.0 Mustang. I looked at him, there's no way in heck you are. I'll burn you in a flipping minute. Well, I would have won the bet. I laid $200 on the table. I would have won the bet, but I went 185 miles an hour. I had to legally make a red light, stop at a red light, so I didn't get fined or ticketed or whatever. I tried to slow down. As I was trying to slow down, I lost control of my Mustang. I was going 185 miles an hour. I rear-ended a lady that was dying of lung cancer. I hit her so hard, I etched her in the middle of the intersection. She was hit by 3 cars. She died in her car, and I was in a coma for 5 months and 3 days. So that right there is my story. Long.
For 5 months and 3 days.
5 months and 3 days. That's a long time.
That does seem like a long time. It's almost amazing how you can remember that, even in such detail.
Yeah.
It's. Can you tell us a little bit about having a brain injury?
About having a brain injury.
Yeah, like your daily life, or like what you have to do different from other people.
Well, prime thing, what I have to do different from other people with a brain injury to remember the certain things I do throughout the day. I have to keep a daily journal, and I write down stuff that I feel is important to myself, so I can reflect on it and say, hey, I did this on a certain day. How can I go about things differently the next day or a couple days after? So that is the biggest thing for me for right now, is keeping a journal like I do. I've been writing writing a journal for a total of 8 years.
Wow.
And I still do it, so it's what helps me, so I keep doing it.
How do you feel that that's helped you? Keeping a journal.
Keeping a journal helps in one way, probably the biggest way. When I want to reflect on certain days, like what happened then, what can happen another day. It helps kind of balancing things out to have an all-time better day. And besides reflection, just memories. Certain things you want to remember that happened a couple previous days. That's why journals are important. Because special occasions or things like that.
How do you think how do you deal with the stress of having a brain injury? And what kind of stresses come with having a brain injury?
Wow. That's a broad question.
There are a lot, aren't there?
Mm-hmm. The thing that I can think of most, because it is important.
It's a stressful thing.
Yeah, it really is.
I mean, you were a Marine. You are a Marine.
Thank you.
I'm sorry.
Once a Marine, always a Marine.
You're a Marine, but you're not active anymore.
Not active. I'm a disabled Marine.
You're a disabled Marine.
Big difference.
Oh, yeah, I'm sorry.
It's alright, it's none taken.
But you played like 8 sports in high school, I think.
Yes, I did.
You had a 4.0
3.8 GPA.
3.8 GPA. And
how did I juggle time and girlfriends at the same time and jobs at the same time? That was mighty hard to do.
that was not my question, but
well, I added all those on because that's what made me me.
Yeah, and do you feel like you lost a part of yourself, maybe?
Actually, no. I feel I didn't lose a part of myself from my brain injury or car accident, however you want to put it. I feel since I became disabled, I'm getting my second chance at life. I went to war. I was in a coma. I could have died in a coma. But the Lord helped me recover. And since I'm getting my second chance at life, I'm doing better at what I'm doing, how I was living my life, to how I am living my life.
That's some pretty deep shit, Tony.
It's the truth.
Yes, so it must be hard, though, I can't imagine having
juggling all that.
Well, no, that's not what I was going to say, but good try.
I tried.
You did try. It must have been hard going from being such a successful, hard-working, life-saving young man to the life you're living now. Was it tough to rebuild?
Very.
What made it tough? Were there any obstacles you had to overcome?
Actually, the biggest thing that stood in my way since I became disabled was the whole acceptance piece. Because
probably looked at you differently.
Yes. And I myself never accepted my injury or the cause of my injury. I never wanted to admit that. But then from talking with my dad and him trying to tell me and show me pictures of the accident, him telling me the stories, that's how I learned. Most of the stuff was from all the things he was telling me, because he was my biggest memory aspect. Without his help and my mom's help, I'd be stuck.
Can you tell me about the moment you were finally able to come to grips with the fact that you had a brain injury? Or the, the crap. This is my new life now. Like, what helped you overcome that? Can you tell me about that? If not, it's okay.
The one thing I can think of is when I was pushing myself, I had to accept my limitations of things I cannot do.
That must have been difficult.
Very. But I didn't let it hold me down.
As well you shouldn't.
Right.
I think that's admirable. A lot of people in that situation would have given up.
True.
Do you think it's because of your obviously great faith and your training as a Marine, a military man, that helped you overcome this, or just was it pure willpower?
Actually, I have to say it's along the lines of willpower is one of them. Also helps out a little more is my training, my military training, because even though I'm one of 3 or 4 Marines in my family. Everybody in my family doubted me, saying I can't do it. They were all saying, not having bets with each other. They were just saying I was not going to be able to graduate boot camp. And then when I did, I proved them all wrong. I thrive on that.
So in a sense, you've been dealing with this
All my life.
Your whole life.
Yes.
Showing people there's more to you.
Yes. There's more bite to my power.
I've never heard that. That's interesting. Can you tell me about some of your accomplishments as a brain injured individual? I mean, with bad comes the good, right?
True. My accomplishments. Well, probably my most, in my eyes, my most proud my most proud moment I've had was when I was living in Delaware when my mom was alive, before we moved to Minnesota. I'd be...
Hello. Can you close the door? No? Okay.
I was a guest speaker at a couple of schools for the in-school suspended kids. I had to kind of set the right. I had to tell them that this is not the end of their schooling. That if they want certain things, they have to correct their behavior and do the right things to graduate, to become what they want to do, what they want to become. So I have numerous kids, and they listen, and I felt that was the biggest piece, helping others.
It's a very big sense of accomplishment, helping others.
That's the best time to give them. Not when they're old and decrepit and what have you.
Like somebody you know.
But when they're young, so that they can correct the behavior and do the right thing to graduate.
future holds for
Wow.
the future holds for you.
Wow.
Yep, I'm gonna go there.
I never really thought about that.
Well, you should. You're like 33.
Well, I'll be 34 in April.
I'll be 23 in
February.
I'm younger than you.
Yeah, I might be 34. I still have gray hair already.
Yeah.
And we don't need a picture of that.
Look at this.
By no means, even though I shaved my head, even though Ella shaved my head for me, I still have gray hair. And
Dude, your head is sweaty. Gross.
Anyway, I hope for